Hi everybody, welcome to Ed's Synth Kitchen, and today we're here with Eugene Man Roberts, world-class keyboard player and MD. So today Eugene and I are going to talk about the Roland JD-Xi and the basic overview, how to run it. Hey Mr. Eugene.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How do we run this thing?
Well, we're going to dig right in. So once
Cool.
you first turn this thing on, you got a lot of presets internally, but you also have, clean patches where you can start from scratch, pretty much analog style. So what we'll do right now is just show you pretty much what's in the keyboard itself. So what we'll do is right here you have basically category selections. We'll go to brass right now. So you have your brass, then you can hit this tone button, which will give you a selection of different brasses. You know, same thing with going to the sequence sounds. And one of my favorite things is the strings in here. Really warm and really cool.
And that's great. And with a sound like that, if you wanted to add a little bit of cutoff, low pass filter on there.
Yeah, you can do anything you want to do right now.
Just dial it right in.
And of course you have, as we spoke about in a couple of our other videos, which you might want to check out, is dealing with the effects panels and, basically giving your sounds character and coloring everything up. So next what we'll move on to is showing you the different parts. So, of course, you can select your different sounds. So we have these strings on our part 1.
There we go. Turn up that filter.
Turn my filter back up here.
Cool.
And then what we'll do is we'll show you the part 2. So right now it's back at 0. So what we'll do is we'll put something cool, like some type of keyboard in here, which is really cool about this little guy here. It actually has real like piano sounds in here. It's not just a synth.
And that's probably helpful for you, like when you're on tour and you might want to take a keyboard to the room and kind of hash some stuff out or work on some arrangements. You can actually take the JD-Xi and use it.
Exactly, and not just play it on a synth.
Yeah,
Trying to play a piano part, which doesn't work out too well. So basically, when you write, this keyboard pretty much writes in different parts, especially when you're writing your program. And when you write a program, you write 4 parts, which are your 2 digital. You have your drums, which are different kits in here as well. Then you have the analog synth part, which is really cool because you can choose your wave, you can, with your oscillators, and you can deal with your filters. And it's really analog. It's really cool.
And it's cool. We have the analog waveforms, plus we have an analog low-pass filter.
Exactly.
Exactly, right in there.
So dealing with the analog, deal with a nice little square situation. And of course, you can check out a couple of our other videos where we explain, the purpose of an oscillator, dealing with the amp and the envelope. So you might want to check out our other videos. We have a whole series going on. It's only going to get better.
And this is good. This is talking about the fundamentals of synthesis, which is going to help you on any of the Roland keyboards you have. So let's see. So you're adjusting the filter, a little cutoff in the resonance.
Yep.
A little bit of amp, so he's adjusting how it reacts in the keys and also the loudness.
And then what you do is give it a little character. We're going to turn on some effects here.
Well, don't forget we got to turn on the effects on and off.
Yep, we're going to get there.
Cool.
Get this delay popping. So with the effects, you just want to make sure they're all on. You can turn them on individually, or you can turn them all on. So usually what I like to do is I like to turn them all on. So that way I just got them all at my access, all at my control. And the thing about the analog synth, it's mono, which gives you that real, that analog old school feel. Where, it's not poly, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Especially for lead parts and different cool little effects.
Yeah, leads are also basses. That'll really fill it up real nicely.
Exactly. And with your delays, you could do the whole tap tempo which is really cool.
Yeah, I noticed you like to use the tap tempo,
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to gauge what BPM you really are, so to
especially
make
live.
exactly.
Human is everything going on.
Exactly. Now, if we're playing to a click or we're playing to track, I can dial in the tempo and save that to the program. But, on the fly, sometimes it's kind of hard to really gauge what's going on. So, tap tempo is always safe.
And that's cool. So this sound you have is almost like a more of a lead kind of sound.
Right.
Yeah, but if you wanted to, you could always add that sub oscillator.
Yep, and then that's just going to take it right down.
Yep.
So we'll show you that. And if you can hear it, it's bringing that low end in. I'm going to back off some of the effects so you can hear what's going on.
So that's pretty cool. The sub oscillator, this particular sub oscillator is built off of a square wave.
Yep.
And we can go down either 1 octave or 2 octave. And I also noticed you were taking advantage, since you're using a square, you started adjusting the pulse width.
Exactly. It just spreads the sound out more, and it just gives it more character and more definition, and it's some movement to it, actually.
That's pretty cool. So that's a lot of shape and creativity you can do just with that one analog synth and a filter in there. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Well, cool. Can you play a little bit more for us?
Yep. So basically, this is still just our analog. So I'm going to go back to our digital side. And I'm going to deal with these strings and just show you a couple different things you can do with the filters, different things to make it your own. But, once you get those different sounds going on, you want to basically write them over so you can save your sounds. So what we'll do is we'll just hit menu, and that's going to be our program edit. And what we'll do is we'll write the sound over first. Then we go to tone edit, and then we'll scroll over. We're going to scroll over, and we're going to name it when we're ready to write it over. But it's already named, but you can hold the shift here and hold the cursor, and it'll delete everything, and you can just
Start from fresh?
start from fresh and name it what you want to name it. We'll name this one Ed,
That's nice. I appreciate
after
that.
my friend Ed.
Cool.
So we'll save this as Ed. So yeah, it's written over as Ed. So now what we'll do is we'll write over the program, which is holding shift and menu. And when you do that, it pretty much saves all your 4 parts, your effects. It saves everything you've done to this program. And then once we save to the program, I'll show you how to save it to your favorites.
Yeah. And
And we all like favorites.
We do, because I know on the stage show, the artist you might be playing with, he might have a set list,
Right.
but then he might throw an audible and change.
Exactly.
And so you have to change. You might have everything laid out, but as soon as he throws that audible and that says, play this song now,
Yep.
you have to jump quick.
Song 8, maybe numbers 10.
Yeah. And so that favorites really comes in handy.
Exactly. So we'll write over the program. Well, actually, what we'll do is we'll name it again.
And while Man's naming it, just as a reminder, a program inside the JD-Xi is comprised of the digital part 1, digital part 2, the drums, and the analog. So all of those things are saved inside a program, just so you guys know. So he's essentially saving all of his custom parts, his 2 synths, his drums, and his analog synth to this program. So when he moves to a different program, it'll be a whole new set of parts. But as soon as he moves back to the one he just saved, it'll be bring all those parts back. So
Yeah.
great.
So now we're saved here. And then when you hit shift, it lets you know the name of your program, because it doesn't always show you. It shows you your parts and your
Yeah.
bars where you are. So then that's Ed 1, and the patch is Ed. So what we'll do is we're going to now write this to our favorite by, just like on our Gaia and other series of keyboards, we'll hold this favorite button, and we'll hold down. So now Ed is 6.
And so you did that. That was just kind of like an old school car thing. You just held the favorites.
Push button.
Yeah, held the favorites down, and the ones that are solid, it's showing you, hey, there's already something programmed there.
Yep.
But the ones that are blinking, it's saying
You got some space.
you got some space. So all you would do is hold and then hit one that's blinking, and that quickly.
Yep.
It's,
And then when you
it's
have
saved
these,
in there.
when you have the favorite highlighted, that pretty much shows you all your favorites. And in this one, without when they're not lit up, that's also a way to show you got some empty slots.
Yeah, that's great. And probably the one that's blinking, that's the one that's saying, hey, this is what you're currently on.
Yep.
So once again, my name is Ed Diaz, and this is Eugene Man Roberts, and this is just a basic overview of the JD-Xi and the parts, and how to save a program, and how to save it to favorites. So if you guys, please check out the rest of our videos in Ed's Synth Kitchen with Mr. Eugene Man Roberts. Thank you for watching.